to beautiful people. Welcome to Heal Talk with Nay. I am your host, Shanae, and today I have a very, very special guest, Mr. James Long, who is a creative within the fashion industry, and he is a father, a husband, a son, a king, all of those things. And we are so excited to have you here today, James. You want to tell the people a little bit about who you are?
Sure. My name is James, like Shanae just commented. Something about myself is that I'm just a regular guy trying to figure everything out in this world. I wear many hats in this world. I'm a father, like you mentioned, a husband, I'm a son, I'm a friend to many, I'm a mentor to some. And so for that, I'm just ever evolving. I just think that I'm here to inspire and to learn, and through my titles, I hope that I actually do that. And those titles are those things that I actually take and hold very near and dear to me. And so being a creative and being a father and a mentor, which is very, very important to me, those are like the most important things. And those are a few things about me. And I just love Black people too.
Oh, that's right.
That is who I am and what I'm all about. So on top of all that, the youth, the mentorship and everything, I love Black people. I want to see us win in a big way. And
That's awesome. Well, we also love Black people here at Hilltop. And so that's amazing. And speaking of titles, obviously today our topic is about healing through parenthood and specifically fatherhood. So we're really excited to kind of dig deep into that conversation and get to know a little bit about your journey through fatherhood and how that's also, kind of helped you through your healing process, because we're all evolving, healing humans, and everyone's journey looks different. And so I know that there are so many people, especially being a Black man, and upon all of the titles that you mentioned, it can be challenging. And so thank you so much for taking your time to be here and talk to us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Shanae.
Of course. So, you ready to get into it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, so can you tell me a little bit about, your upbringing and, how you got into being a creative?
Okay, so as far as my upbringing, I was raised by a single Black mom. I don't really come from much family. In my earlier age, the little bit of family that we did have, I learned about and we met, but throughout the years, pretty much it's just been my mother and I. So as my upbringing it's been very unique. My mom's background and upbringing was very unique in a sense. So just kind of having a mother in an interesting dynamic in the way that she was raised, I would say that kind of was passed off in a way. And so as a child, I had a good childhood. My mom definitely tried her hardest. She always had a job. She had several jobs. And she did what she had to do to survive and also to take care of me. Didn't have my father in my life until about maybe 5 or 6 or so. And that was just through quick interactions and brief interactions, never really anything more than that until maybe around 9 or 10 or so, when I actually was able to understand things more. And we never really had a strong bond or relationship from there. So I really more so took to my mom and her ideologies, the things that she taught me. And for that, I really thank her, because I do think that she tried her hardest. Being a strong Black woman, we talk about us coming from two parts, and I want to say that because of her, I'm intact with my feminine side as well as as well as being a male. And I thank her for that, because I don't know if everyone gets that if you don't have that type of dynamic. But for me, it's I thank her for what she taught me, and like I said, it was very unique. We struggled a lot, we moved a lot, but at the end of the day, like, I always saw her like get up and make it happen. It was an experience that I think shaped and formed the person who I am today, and the person who I'm growing into being. And I actually am a little bit more grateful these days of everything that she did do and understanding now that I actually have a child, 2 children. So the sacrifice, you know, how hard it is to actually be a parent, and I couldn't even imagine being a single parent. So those are different dynamics that, you know, seeing where I come from and where I'm at now, and not wanting to do that to someone else, a child. So but I had a good childhood, but like I said, we had our ups and downs.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, first, thank you for sharing that. And I, too, well, I had my father in my life, but he wasn't really present mentally, I guess I would say. So I would consider myself coming from a single parent home as well. And so I totally can relate to what you're saying. And it's so interesting from the dynamic of seeing my mother, who is the feminine energy, also have to encompass the masculine energy, and thinking that, especially as Black people, that we have to have more of that masculine, strong energy,
right,
I guess, as opposed to being able to embrace the feminine side. So for you to say that and knowing that the balance, like we come from a man and a woman,
absolutely,
so we're supposed to be in balance, that's a really powerful sentiment. So, you know, you have a great relationship with your mom, and you are blessed because it seems like you're just surrounded by so many ladies. So can you tell us a little bit about your 2 precious children?
Yes, so my firstborn is Kaden Jade Long, born September 5th, 2016. She's 5 years old. And like everyone knows, she looks just like me.
Twins.
We're twins.
Same face.
For me personally, it trips me out every moment and every time I look at her, because I'm looking at a reflection of myself. And it's like one of the most, it's crazy, like, especially, you know, when you see the temperaments and certain different, like, you know, just different things, and you're like, that's me. You know, and she obviously shares, you know, characteristics of Chrissia as well. But, you know, especially her face, just seeing her face, it just trips me out every time. And our bond is just, that's my homie. I just, like, I don't know, being the firstborn and not ever really never really being around any children, like kind of going back to like having kind of like a very like quiet childhood in the sense of family, just it being me and my mom and really no one else. It's just it's an amazing thing for me, because I never thought like that I could feel something like this. So even even through all the diva moments and all the different things, she's taught me a lot about myself, and she continues to teach me a lot about myself, and she's an amazing spirit. She's genuinely a good person. I could really see that she's going to be a good person. She's caring, and these are all like different things that I hope, characteristics that I and Chrissia can instill. And her being the oldest, she's gonna set the example for who I'm gonna mention now, who's JC, our rebel raiser. She was born on Christmas 2020, right? 2019, I'm sorry. And she'll be 2 this year. So the second time around, you never consider that this person is going to be completely different than the other person. I, being not around a lot of kids, I haven't ever had that experience or knowledge of anything like that. So I always just, in my head, just said, okay, this is going to be like a Kaden 2.0. And I quickly found out that this is not the case. And this person is actually more like me in character, I think. Just a little bit more of a, I think that she's just like a Rage Against the Machine kind of person. I could just tell that she's just, I think she's gonna have her own thoughts. I could see her being a very strong individual. freestanding on her own. And I'm really, really excited to see it. And even now, and her almost being 2 years old, her character and her trait, like everything is starting to come out more now. She's now saying daddy and mommy, and you just get reminded of all over again about how blessed and how amazing this process is to see the inception of something and see how it progresses. And I thank my wife Priscilla, for everything that she does, and I am very, very grateful that I was blessed with 2 girls. I wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't.
You think you're gonna try for a boy?
I just, if it happens in some sense or way, I guess, but no, we're kind of good on the 2. I mean, I like being a girl dad, and I'll just be transparent about it. I think sometimes we talk about faith. I have my faith in the way that I see things, but whether it's God or the gods, I think that sometimes certain titles and certain things are pointed to certain people, or maybe for me, being that I didn't have my father in my life, maybe I put a certain kind of pressure or some kind of thing that maybe damages this person through the traumas of maybe some of the things that I didn't have. So I kind of think about things like that, like of how, what God or what the earth gives you. And I think that I'm meant to have girls. I really do think that. Everyone always says that, and I'm just like, I don't know. I really think I'm meant to have girls. I think, yeah, I really do. But if it did happen, I would be very happy and surprised if it was a boy, you know what I mean? Because obviously we talk about legacy, but I think legacy should be applied to both. I don't think it should be like because of the sex of a child. It's like a child. So that should be the legacy.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And everyone comes from a woman, so
Right.
they really are the legacies.
Yes.
But it's it's interesting that you brought that up as far as like your lack of relationship with your father. So because of that, how do you feel like that has shaped your vision of parenthood and fatherhood, with you being a father now?
I mean, it could be, I think the most typical answer would be just like the example that he said, you don't want to be that. But as of recently, as being 35 years old, I could say that we all struggle. And I want to try to shoot him a little bail right now that whatever struggles he has going on, and he continues to have going on, we are all dealing with things. And some of us beat those struggles and some of us don't. And it was definitely an example. He did everything. He showed an example of everything that I didn't want to do to someone, and that's just really it. And I think it just is about being present and intentional and authentic to the people around you. And that doesn't mean that you have to be good or bad. See, like, I think we get confused with that. And if you are authentic and intentional and truthful, whether you are good or bad, people should be able to accept it. But if you aren't, or at least work with you in some way. But if you're just not a good person and you're setting intentions out there just to not be responsible and accountable, then that's just, that's not right. So, yeah, definitely things like that. But also, too, I think about it now and I understand that we all as human beings have struggles. And so we're all struggling in an area, in whatever area it was and continues to be for him. I hope one day in his 80-year-old self right now that he can figure it out.
Yeah. It's so interesting how as you get older, you start to see your parents a little bit differently. But you specifically being a father, do you feel like now that you're a father, you kind of extend grace a little bit to your dad, or is it something that you think that you're still trying to heal through? And you're speaking about intentionality as far as forgiveness and moving forward with him. Do you feel like now being a parent yourself, you are being intentional about healing that part of your life with your dad and seeing things differently now that you are a parent yourself?
Okay. Truthfully, for like the last 35 years, no. Like, cause, but I'm in a new place I think I'm falling into in my life where it's very traumatic. My situation is unique. My father is he's successful. He's helping people around us that are directly like correlated to us that he does, but he won't associate with his own family. So it's a unique situation. It's like I see him in town with his red Corvette. It's a very unique situation. It has made me want to at some point, but this is literally just happened. Just happening. Like when I say like, we're in the midst of it happening. And I don't know what this is about, but maybe it's newfound growth and the new chapter of my life where I could let certain things go, because this has been very traumatic for me. It's made me sick mentally, could be physically at times. It's a mind cluster of emotions. And at some point, I have to be accountable for myself and my body and what I can control. And that situation is something that I can't really control. So I have to move forward, but I do want to try to find a way to give grace in the sense of really being okay with it, because I still go back and forth literally daily when I wake up, because I have reminders of certain things of how to feel and what I feel. I'm just trying to move forward, but it is a unique situation. But to your question, I think right now at this point in time, because I am a father, but for me, I would be doing it for me, because he never did anything that I'm doing. So he wouldn't even have experienced or even knows the kind of dedication, hard work, and what goes into this. So, it would just be more so for me, because, like I said, these things, this makes me sick. This is my trauma, and this is what's affecting me. It's not more so affecting him, or maybe we don't know, but on our end, this is what's affecting me. So yeah, I definitely want to, as being a father, I do see myself moving into a place where I'm looking, I want to say forgiveness, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So, but one day maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. And I think that that's important to note, that it's okay to be where you are and where you're at, and you don't have to rush the process, because it is a process, and there's so much pain and so much turmoil that you have to sort through. Like, being able to respect where you are and embrace where you are in that journey is an amazing thing, and that no one should rush that. Because like, I know for me, I had a very strained relationship with my father for most of my life. Right. And as I started to do the work on myself, I realized that, like, just similar to you, it's not really about the other person, but it's really to like lift that burden off of myself, because we are only responsible for ourselves. And with my dad, I was in another part of my journey where I had to just talk to him and tell him how I felt. And for the first time in my entire life, where it was just him and I spoke to him, and he spoke to me back about his struggles, and I didn't even think about him going through anything. Like, I just felt like, you were inflicting pain on me and my sister, and I saw what you did to my mom. And I was able to see him as a human for the first time, but I also realized that parent or no parent, they don't always have to be in your life. Right. Like, you're another human being, and I can respect you as such. And whatever is supposed to happen with our relationship can happen, if that's what God has planned. But we don't have to intervene into it. Like, we don't have to rush it or do anything like that. And so I think being honest about where you are with that, and one day you'll get there with your dad. Or your parents, because even for me, my mom was everything. She is everything for me, but I had to realize, like, I had certain resentments towards her, and that's really hard when that's the parent who took care of you.
Yeah.
So being able to see them as human beings as well, who gone through the same thing we've gone through, maybe worse, who knows, is so important in the steps of healing.
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned like Kaden and her spirit, and I do believe that like spirits like that. I'm around Kaden. I know she like talks about Jesus. Like, these kids can sense this stuff, and I don't think that it's by accident. I think because of you and Chrissia and y'all's spirits, whether you're evolving spiritually or not. Creating that little human, creating that little spirit is a reflection of you both. And so with that, are you like on a spiritual journey or healing? And what does that look like for you? Like, how do you define where you go to for your source?
I think that I'm like in a very I'm in a particular place in my life right now where I question everything. So as far as spirituality, okay, I'll put it to you like this, right? Monday, my mom was like, honor thy mother and thy father, and thy days will be much longer. And I always had a problem with that statement alone when I was a child. For me, it felt like mind control. So just me as who I am as a person, a Sagittarius, or whatever you want to call it, I always have had questions about anything. Like, you can't just tell me something. So when it comes to spirituality, I know for sure that there's a bigger entity out there. There's a strong entity. There's many different things out there that are helping and hurting at the same time. And I think for me at this point, this particular point where in my life I'm seeking knowledge, and through knowledge, spirituality, I'm forming my own way of spirituality through something like, for instance, researching African deities and native deities to America. I mean, you're just all different kind of ideologies, and I'm just interested in it all. And so for that, where I pull from is a very interesting question, because right now I can't really say exactly where. I'm like I said, I'm in a very unique place in my life where I'm seeking something, and I'm researching, and I think I'll get there. But right now I'm just unlearning some of the things that I truly believe that I question, and I have in my view I have right to question. And still in a way, trying to show Kaden and the kids that whether it's God or gods or anything, it's all within everything relative to around us, whether it's the sun, the grass, the air, being grateful, which I think for anything in spirituality, those are things that everyone should be pretty much in concert with, and understanding that these are the things that God gave us. And so I kind of try to go through that route of just nature and things like that. And I find comfort in that, because the Creator obviously had hands in all of this. And so, appreciating those things and appreciating those things, I think, have helped her. And she's came up with some of this stuff on her own, looking outside, looking at the sun. I mean, I would also talk to her in the morning about that being God, waking up and, going to sleep, and who's God, and, grass, and just asking things. And I just always say that it's definitely a bigger force out there. And she always seems to have taken to it. I just think it's naturally who she is. Like, I just think it's who she is. And yeah, it's very, it's strange in some ways because she's like, if you talk to her, she'll talk to you about Jesus, or she'll almost uncommon kind of come across like she like is spitting a Bible verse at you or something like that. It's just I think her spirit is just, yeah, I think she's different. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I also agree with your sentiments. Like, through my own spiritual journey, it's starting to look different to me, and I'm defining it not from a social construct perspective. And the Bible, like, I can't, so with some of the verses, like, it doesn't make sense, so contradictory. So I totally agree with you like that. And especially from a woman perspective, it feels so male, you know,
very antiquated.
dominant. Exactly. And so I totally feel you on that one. And being one with nature and realizing that everything in nature is God has completely shifted my perspective. Like, you know, we were talking earlier and you said Kaden was gardening and things like that. Like, being around my plants, especially in New York City where the nature ain't the same as other places. Just being with my plants and spending that time and watering, I see myself in that. And I don't think that that's by accident. It's like the same things that nature needs, so do humans. And it's so powerful how that can be seen from a spiritual level.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned that, you know, you're seeking something and you're educating yourself, specifically about, you know, your history, African history, indigenous history. What is it that you feel like you're seeking?
Total strength and confidence. Like, to feel like wherever I go on this earth, this world, this, especially the United States of America, because this is my land, that I feel totally confident and comfortable in everywhere I go. And I'll admit, there are plenty of Christians, Muslims, and all those different things that have that, and that's their thing. So it looks, you know, and you know, I like the same thing in a way, but through the way I see it, you know, and through something that I feel and believe in, and then comfortable with. But you know, I don't know, because it's just, I'm still just searching it all, you know, like there's many aspects to me. I think I'm an intellect, and I think I'm a warrior, so I might be praying to Ogun, maybe I'm asking my aunt for justice, like, I don't know. It's like this goes all over the place at times, and it's just, I just feel it in my blood. Like, I really do feel it in my blood, connections to these things, to these people, especially to Ogun, you know, a warrior. And I don't know, it's just like I'm just searching, and just what falls into my lap and through information, but there's definitely certain things that definitely feel right, in fact, to me. Like, and so I think that when it comes, I'll know. But just right now, it's just been a journey of just information, knowledge seeking, and just processing it all. And so, yeah, like I said, it just depends. Like, you know, maybe I am asking for justice, and I'm looking up, like I said, my aunt, DET, and seeing the semblance of like how the United States of America takes like the book from like something like what a God like that is, and just portrays it into it being judge and jury of a whole land. And I don't know. So right now I can't really say what it is, but I just know that I'm going towards something. Yeah. What do you feel like justice looks like to you? Justice is just fairness to me. Like, that's just it. Like, if you got two things here, they should be treated the same way. And that's how I want to see the world. Like, justice, I want to see that. And that's with anyone and everyone. You know, I just think that society, you can almost pay your way out of anything now. So justice isn't really a thing anymore. There's no real consequence if you could pay your way out of the things. And, you know, obviously there's other things that happen that justice is given. But, I mean, just on a broad blanket, I just think that certain groups and certain people, the justice isn't the same. And I just want to see like a fair, even playing field for everyone. You know, and also I think justice is punishment too. So like if, you know, people need to be accountable and be punished accordingly now, because it's, I think that life is very serious, and sometimes we're playing with it in ways that is just not right. And there's groups of people out there that are injusticing people, and I just want to see a even playing field for everyone to be treated the same exact way, and to also be punished the same exact way too.
Right.
Like, it's just simple.
So with all of that, like through your seeking and your journey of seeking, and even with that idea of justice, how has your journey of kind of seeking information and healing and doing all of that translate into you as a parent?
It scares the crap out of me. It's just, you just want to make sure that you're giving these little two people some really good information. You want to make sure that you want to build some official tissue people. Like, you know, you want, like, I don't know, I just think about it all the time. Like, I just want them to be solid individuals in the sense of knowing, like, having great morals, being responsible, being courteous, being, you know, all those characteristics, all those little small things that maybe people don't think about anymore in 2021. But I am old school in maybe some ways, and kindness and saying yes, please, and thank you, all those different things. Those are all like those things that are very, very important to me, and instilling into the girls. And as far as, like I said, the spirituality, I mean, it gets, I try to really only keep it light, you know, and keep it about the earth and the nature and those things, because as I grow older and I become more knowledgeable, I think I'll be able to have more articulate conversations with them. And so through the growth right now, I try not to let on too much, and just, you know, just keep it really simple and just about, you know, just being grateful, gratitude, you know, being grateful. We talk about mommy, being grateful to mommy, you know, understanding, you know, what she does in this world, the responsibility she has, understanding what I do, the responsibility that I have, and, you know, just them just having a good understanding of life. Because that one thing about me, I feel like that I was told things without it being like elaborated on. It's like, do as I say, not as I do, or just do it. And so for us, it's my goal to really like explain things, and that's a very hard job.
Yes.
It's a very hard job to be present and to have the patience to explain to a 2-year-old for sure, and then a 5-year-old, you know, different things, you know. And so that's what I really just, you know, that's what I hope for and see for them. And, you know, I just want them to be good people, which I know that they're going to be. But, you know, I think it's going to evolve as the time goes on, you know. Maybe we might be the family and the son praying all at the same time and doing those things, because that's, you know, that's probably where it's going in a sense. But like, I'm still finding it, you know, and they're there for the journey too, and they're getting their little jewels, and I think it'll all come together one day really nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's so interesting, because as you are in a different place in your life, and just with your own awareness and seeing the world in a different perspective and things like that, and then also kind of reverting back to what you might have had or not had as a child, and now like trying to move through that process along with 2 little angels of yours and a wife, like, because like you mentioned before, it was always you and your mom. It's always you and one other person,
right.
And now you have 3 other people around you. So how is it incorporating all of these additional bodies into your life as you are kind of transitioning in a different space mentally now?
That's a good question. I think that we're individuals at the end of the day too. So it's like we have to be respectful that we're together, but we're also individuals. And I think that a lot of us get away from that and taking care of ourselves and, you know, doing things for ourselves. Like, and so there's a lot of hormones in the house. You know, there's 3 women, you know, and how I do it is we talked about spirituality and stuff. I go to Vipassana. I go to a place for meditation often. I sit in noble silence where I don't speak to people. I balance myself the best way I can. I exercise. Recently, I have some things that I'm working on, but I have recently tried to put down some toxic things in my life, and I've been on a health kick. I've been, you know, really trying to transform my mind and my body. So how it is that, you know, as much as I focus on them, I'm noticing that I have to focus on me too. And like that feels right. Like when you just focus on one aspect of life or just the family, then you feel there's something missing there. So what I've been doing and I've been trying to do, which is, you know, is trial and error, is just finding a way to periods and times to focus on myself and then focus on the family. Because I need to do both.
Yeah.
And like I said, Vipassana is definitely one of those places that I frequent. I go to Shelburne, Massachusetts sometimes, and it's like a monastery. It's just it's a place where you literally sit in a meditation hall and you just meditate, and no one can speak, and you know, and I like that. I like quietness, you know, and so yeah, how I'm doing it is just I'm finding like just little ways and alternative ways to just, you know, focus on myself and service myself whenever I can. And that creates a level of balance that feels good, you know, because it is I've always been around just women my whole life. So it's just like, this is just kind of the same thing, but just, you know, more.
More on a daily basis.
Yeah, and like I said, I've had a unique upbringing with, you know, I know how to cook to a degree, I know how to clean, I know how to do all these domesticated like things. So, you know, we balance it out and we play our parts in our roles in the way that we do. And like I said, there's times where, you know, I take care of myself and I go to the gym, I try to eat good, and I meditate. And now I'm getting back into my creativity and focus on my creativity and using my voice, because I truly love speaking my perspective and trying to give jewels about ideology and the way of thinking that I want people to do, is like being critical thinkers and kind of like questioning everything, kind of like a scientist. Like, you know, like the reason why this society evolves is because the questions. We don't evolve without questions.
Right.
So I just want my people to be critical. And, you know, so what I'm doing is I'm doing things that feel right to me. So I'm using my voice, I'm getting out there, I'm speaking on heavy topics that a lot of people are afraid to talk on. And I'm just doing things that feel right to me. So yeah.
No, that's amazing. And, you know, I want to ask, you know, you brought up your family and everyone having their roles and things like that. And for you, especially, again, as a Black man and kind of diving deep into our history and things like that. And in the US, right, we have these like kind of trigger words or like traumatic type of descriptions for when it comes to Black people. Like, for example, to me, a trigger is like angry Black woman or strong Black woman. And so I've been in a place where I'm like really trying to redefine what those things mean, and redefine what words mean. So with you, are you? And if so, how important is it to kind of redefine what the Black family looks like, the structure of that, with respecting everyone in their roles and being able to switch roles if you need to?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that everyone has to, we can't generalize for one, and I think that that's a problem. We generalize relationships. Every relationship is different. Like, and even within the Black community, you got all kind of people doing all kind of things and ways to make money and things of that nature. In my particular case, I mean, I've been pretty open about it, but it's a struggle to a degree, because I mean, if you're told something all your life, like this is what you're supposed to do, and then like out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, let me not say that, because the reality of it all is that women have been working hard forever and they've never been given their just due. So this is like just Black women, and so it's just, this is supposed to be happening, but you know, it's I don't want to say a struggle, I'm sorry, but it's an adjustment. You know, it's a pivot, and daily I am pivoting and understanding my role and my position as well as my wife's, and it's I think that it's important that we just try to make it work for what your relationship has going on, because everyone's dynamic is different. People got all kind of strange things going on that you may not even see on social media.
Right.
You don't even know. Like, there's all kind of different things that people are doing that's what they consider the structure of the Black family. All kind of different things. Like, and I just think that we as Black family, we just need to stick together. Like, that's just it. Like, if you guys are making babies, you gotta be able to find a way to be together. You got to find a way to, you guys got, you liked each other enough to do it, so come on now. Like, you know, just simple things like that. Like, I just think the Black family needs to stay banded together. Like, whatever it looks like, and you know, whatever it looks like, that's just human nature. That's not a Black thing or a white thing. People do things and that's just it.
Right.
But it's what you do with that. And us as Black people, we have to band together. That means a level of maturity that we have to display with each other, and emotionally and things like that. And so yeah, I hope that answered that actually. But yeah, no, like it's just about adjusting and pivoting, you know, and talking things through, you know, and being real and upfront. I've been real and upfront with my wife about my ego in the midst of it, and like, you know, not being the breadwinner or not being the one that, you know, maybe is bringing the most money, and it's like what you do from there is what it really matters. Like, do you let it beat you, or do you let it encourage you, or do you let it destroy you guys, or do you use it as fuel to like build a life, because it's a unit. In any case, so you have to like look at it like that, and I have to remind myself of that. It's not a competition amongst each other, even though sometimes even within humans itself we're competitive, so like we just want to be the best. But I want to be the best. I want to be known as the best, but sometimes, like I said, you have to play your role, and your role, and everyone has a role to play. You know?
I love what you said about not generalizing it and redefining what the structure for your family looks like, and also being able to be transparent and be honest about, you know, where you are, because you're fighting against what society is telling you how it should be, but also what your reality is, and also what your spirit is telling you, or your intuition is telling you. And especially like we talk about our, like opening up our chakras, like opening up our third eye and things like that, and being able to, it almost feels like a constant battle with the spirit and the flesh all the time, because you have people saying this on this side, you have your spirit trying to ground you, but then you also have like your own thoughts doing this, and it's a constant struggle. But I think that being able to be so transparent which thank you for, you know, doing that in this moment, being able to be transparent and say like, listen, sometimes I have ego. Like sometimes I'm mad that you're doing this. And we all know, again, like it's us, right? It's, we're responsible for us and no one else.
Right.
But being able to be honest about where you are and be intentional about wanting to move past that, I think is so powerful. And even with you saying like, we have to stick together, especially as Black people. We don't really have the luxury like everyone else to just be doing whatever we want to do. Like we are in a total like trying to rebuild stage, and God stopped the world for us to get it together, and some people just can't. But taking that time and taking that space to be able to be clear and acknowledge where you are and know that like, okay, sometimes I might falter, and that's okay. Like extending that grace to yourself and just knowing like, all right, I know what my intention is. I know what I want to do for my family. I know what I want to do for myself. I know who I want to be. You said you want to be the best, but you can be the best in what the divine role is for you.
Right.
And being able to be open to that and accepting of that.
Accepting is definitely the word.
Exactly, because I feel I have a lot of struggles like that all the time. Like my partner is someone who's really out there, like constant accolades, and I see all the work he does. Like I get to witness all of that, and all of his successes, I feel like is my success. But I totally can understand like that struggle of like, yo, like you're killing it and I'm happy for you, but I'm not killing it right now and I want to kill it too.
Right.
And so I deal with that a lot, but then I realized like for me, I have to take a step back and think about my wins and think about the things I'm really great at. And, you know, be like, you know what, if this is what I'm supposed to be really great at, I'm gonna be really great at that, whatever that looks like. And the one thing I thought that I didn't have, which was a voice, I feel like God has opened up a place for me to create space to use my voice and allow others to use theirs. And that's my thing. And it might not be super glamorous, but for me, it's like gonna live way past me. And that just kind of brings me to like what you're doing, and you know, using your voice and, you know, being an informationalist. And I would love for you to tell the people a little bit about that and, you know, what you're doing with your content and sharing all the work that you're doing.
Okay, so I have been talking on social media for years now about the same topics. Like it's been very consistent. I've been very consistent with it, but I mean, well, my message has been consistent, but I haven't been consistent. So, just being kind of talking about what we were just, the other question, like I had to come to terms with, I want to be known. I want people to know who I am. I want to be, that's a very hard thing to come to terms with. Like, you know, like you like, I don't want to, you know, I'm not saying I want to be famous or anything, but I want people to know who I am. I want my message to get out there on a large scale. And, you know, I decided that a few weeks ago, and I've been, like, you bought me a mic. I've had so many different people, you guys bought me a mic. I've had so many different people encourage me to get my voice out there. And just, you know, just through some of my struggles mentally, I've been very, you know, I've been up and down about it. I'm involved in something right now through the courts where, you know, I got to make sure I watch myself. Like there's different things going on in my life that people don't really know about that I could lose a lot, like, and I do lose a lot daily. So being an informationalist, I came up with this because I love history in a sense. I just love information, and what I'm trying to do in this current climate is I'm trying to take old ideologies or old things that have happened and new things and tie them together in a way to show that how much has not changed. Or if what is proposed to be changed, maybe you could have a different view of it, and seeing how they just dress it up differently. And how we have really not made the progress that we think we have made. And so I'm really what I'm trying to do with my show, my daily shows, I'm trying to bring real, legitimate information, and it's evolving. Like the ideas are coming day by day, but I want to bring, you know, things that have happened in history along with current events and say like, hey, don't you see why people should be upset? Don't you see why we should be questioning, you know, the government or things of that nature? And it really is to open people's eyes up and to really show people, hopefully make them aware that it's like who the real enemy is. And you know, and I talk about whites, and you know, I talk about the black and white issue and stuff, but it's a bigger message in it, and it's the bigger picture of it all, which we know what those people look like anyway. It's a system, and the system to me is ultimately I want people to advance and go at the system, because I think that we the people, like, and I'm not on, you know, I have my marbles, like I said, so I know that we all don't think the same, but the people have the power. And like the people don't, we've literally given our power away in so many ways. So I want to bring information, and like I want to bring like strength to people. Like, you know, I want to encourage people to be strong and to be brave. I don't want people to lose their jobs or anything like that, but I do want people to stand their grounds. I do want people to remember what happened 2 years ago and why you felt so encouraged to speak out about being black and being this and your traumas, and now you're literally just falling back into the rat race and not even realizing how they got you right back. So I want to wake people up. I reference The Matrix a lot. I think The Matrix is a great reference and analogy about what the world that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
And I love that movie. It's one of my top 5 movies. So I'm just trying to bring legitimate information, history that has happened, and like I said, correlate it to today's times with current events, and show people like, hey, we gotta critically think about what we're seeing. You can't just look at what you're seeing and just take it at face value. You have to go deeper, dig deeper, think deeper, critically think, be critical, question everything. And that's what I'm trying to do. You know, that's what I came up with that word. I don't know if it's really a word. But
I love it.
I can, but a guy named Queen's Flip, like I watch on YouTube, and he called himself a meteorologist. So I just was like, okay. But I love information, so I was like, I'm an informationalist, and I'm just trying to bring the information. And if I happen to be animated one way and maybe I'm serious and yelling the other way, you can't be too mad, because I'm just an informationalist. I'm not a comedian, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm just bringing information. Whatever energy I may bring at that time is the energy I bring. And it's a very unique energy, and it's all for a reason though. It is to shock people. You know, it's to shock people. It's to make people's jaws drop. It's for you to really think, because you know we're listening to fast food, we're digesting fast food information and stuff, and we're not processing anything. So yeah, I want to bring it to people.
I love that. Okay, so I think you're a comedian. I think that you have a very unique gift where the way that you can get the information out is in the day and age that we're in, like that's how people consume it, and the message doesn't get lost. And that's a real gift, because for some people, like the message just gets lost because they don't know how to balance it or control it. So I think that you do a really great job at that. Now, my question, just to kind of tie it back to being a parent, like with being an informationalist and getting that message out, how do you do that with your kids? Or like how do you intend to, you know, do that with your kids? Because at the end of the day, like that generation who's next, you know, they're gonna come up and be the change makers. I believe our generation is gonna start it, like be the curse breakers, but they have to carry it on.
Absolutely.
So how do you think you're gonna be able to do that them so that they're living their lives in that same way?
Yeah, I think about this all the time, because I use people as examples at times, and I don't want to be the father that's a hard nose on, you know, the politics, and you know, I don't want them to, you know, I want to be evenly balanced. I want them to be informed and but also have fun in life. And you know, something for me being I'm gonna just say this, like, and it's not, but my mom taught me about death at like 4 years old. I took on adult issues by the time I was 5. I was held back from school because they told my mom that emotionally I wasn't there because I wasn't dealing in children or kid issues or whatever the word may be. They said that I was more so concerned with adult issues. All right, so I try to use that as an example and to not spook my kids out by the way, you know, because I have a very unique delivery and unique way of being, and I know that about myself. So I try to be light with them. I try to be, because I'm very serious when it comes to information. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to balance it, keep it at a balance, and I'm going to not try to traumatize them too early with information and things of that nature that could potentially do that, because I was traumatized at an early age. So it was like, if that could happen at that time, then it obviously could happen for them too. So I guess I want to do it by leading by example and her just seeing things, and hopefully I'm doing it in a respectful way, and that when she is a little bit older, when JC is a little bit older, that it'll all make more sense to him about like how and why I am the way I am. But you know, I think when things do start to, when conversations start to happen more often, because she is asking about white and black, and she's speaking Spanish, and she's starting to get into, you know, the demographics of people and, you know, ethnicities, and she's having questions, you know, and even like the whole like pledge allegiance to the flag thing, she loves the pledges, she loves that. I'm not gonna take that away from her right now, but it's like, you know, it's a hard thing. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know when the right time is to tell her, hey, like, you know, what do you, I don't know. You know, and that's a good question, Shanae, for real, because I struggle with it. And like, that's the seriousness of being a parent that people don't understand.
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do? Because they still have to go to school, right? So you can't be, you don't want the school to be called and you be coming across like you're training little Malcolm X's.
Yeah, she's a little radical.
Right, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you want to tell them the truth.
Right.
So what do you do? So I don't know. I hope that through who I am and how I live, they'll get it a little bit. And when it is time to have those conversations, it'll be a little bit more easier and understanding, and it won't be so shell shocking and so traumatic. It'll be like, oh, okay, well, I get that, and that's why you're like this, or that's why you never really spoke about this or that. So yeah.
And how do you incorporate your partner into that, with your evolving and her evolving in different ways, especially being operating at different parts of society? Like, how do you guys stay grounded together so that you can send the message to your children together?
I think that in any relationship there's ups and downs, and we just been evolving with it. Like, we're individuals, going back to that.
Right.
And like, I think some relationships, like, you see people, like when you see the couple, you see them as like one person, but we're two very strong people. Like, we come together as a unit, but we're two forces alone. Like, we're two very heavy, big entities. And so everyone's, again, going back to the generalization, everyone's not the same. Every relationship's not the same.
Right.
So with that, I try to respect her and how she is. I bring the information to her. I inform her all the time about everything. I bring that information every single time. And then I bring it, and then it's up to her to do what it is that she will. I mean, I have, and I'm working on this this Kyrie situation is a great example of, I don't want to try to, I don't want to spill my ideologies over to you, like, for you to be like this. I just want you to know about it. So that's where I'm trying to find that that happy medium of informing, but not trying to like impose. And I've done that in the past. I probably still do it. So it's like I'm trying to be better with that. And because again, like I'm on a level, like I said, I'm not in control of people. I'm not on that. I'm not in possession of anyone, and no one's in possession of me. We're units,
right?
And we're family, and we're individuals, and we have the right to think and feel the way we want. And I just try to bring the information. I try to be that for her, to bring information, and what she does from there is what she does with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I guess for me, I was more so trying to figure out, with you being individuals, but having one goal of making sure that your kids, because you have to be a team front, right? Like, figuring out how, with being individuals, how you can come together to get that message across to your children.
Just talking. I think that's what we have been doing, because of the fact that we are different. You know, we just been talking. Yeah. And it's just simple, just having discussions like, this is my ideology, well, this is how I feel, and then we meet. Sometimes it's not in the middle. Sometimes it's like, all right, well, I understand you could, because maybe my way is like really not the most practical way, or vice versa. Right. You know, so it's about being adults and communicating, and keeping in mind that it's not about our egos when it comes to the kids. It shouldn't be. It should be about the kids. Right. So it's not about winning. It's just about what's best for the kids. And I think that we are doing a if not decent, great job at doing that. You know, like that's something that we actually do with the kids. You know, and like it's just talking about it. You know, because again, I'll ask just through conversation, like, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? And then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's what you think. Well, this is how I think. So, and then we come up with something from there. Yeah, so it's just about being obviously able to communicate with your partner about anything. And then that way y'all could at least come up with some kind of solution.
Yes. It's so crazy how talking and communicating changes everything, because I feel like we're in such a world where we're supposed to hide how we feel or shrink ourselves, and just by being transparent and opening up to each other, how that can completely just shift everything. And it's such a powerful thing, and it seems like you guys are doing a great job of that as you're learning and evolving, and you'll be able to cultivate a space for your children to feel like they can come and be transparent with you, because maybe you didn't have that as a child. Or did you? Like, how's your relationship with your mom?
Well, like I was saying, like the transparency was just too transparent. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta find that happy medium of like not traumatizing kids, because for a 4-year-old to be thinking about death is not. That's very deep, and like I'm almost infatuated with death to this day now. So it almost feels normal to me. Like I'm not like when I talk to grown people and just asking, because I like to ask that question. I was like, "Are you afraid to die?" And most people are still afraid to die. So, so you gotta be careful with that. Like, it's transparency, but you don't need to be all the way transparent. Like, and so the relationship with my mom, you talking about currently? Like I think you said something, if we're just being real, there's some resentment in some areas of life, but I just think it's kind of normal, and I'm working through it right now. Like, just truthfully, like being an only child to, a single black mom, you come up, out of college, and you see certain things, and then you maybe realize maybe certain things that you weren't equipped with, that you weren't exposed to. You get mad, you're like, well, why didn't this happen or this happen? And then I go back to like what my mom's upbringing, where she came from was crazy. So it's like I have to shoot bail again and like give my mom some grace as far as like the evolution and her journey and where she came from and where she's at. And so I struggle with that, because I love her to death. Like I love my mom to death. I really do. It's just, there's some areas where we're working through some of those past traumas and those that over being a little too transparent, and and how it has affected me. And I think that I think we even propose even family therapy at some point. I think we may do mom and son therapy or something, just to kind of talk about, you know, have a third party there or whatever the case is to get some stuff out on the table. But, you know, I think the relationship with my mom right now is it's in a growth stage of, you know, learning barriers and, you know, just all kind of different things, you know, that you need to have when you're older and you have a family too, a wife and daughters and you know, stuff like that. But still kudos to everything that she did, you know, like I have a great relationship with her, but just like I said, working through some of the different things of the past and the traumas and stuff, it does come up sometimes. And yeah, we're working on certain things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the way your mom may have been transparent or talked to you, or the way you guys were, or the way she brought you up, has that affected your view on Black women?
That's a good question. Probably so. Like in the back of my mind, maybe to a degree or something like that. Yes, because you know you compare, you know, and so like, yeah, I would have to say so. But I hope that it has gotten a lot better, and you know, in my older, you know. But I think so at times.
Whether it's good or bad. I think that sometimes what I find in our construct, unfortunately, with Black people, is how that really does affect. Like, I think sometimes we're always so focused on the treatment of Black women, we kind of forget about what Black men go through, or not even that we don't forget, but it's not acknowledged as much. And like those traumas, and since we're in a place of trying to break those curses, and you are raising Black women,
Right.
you know, how does that view, what are you doing to kind of redefine that view as you are also bringing up Black women?
Well, I think you made you said something, you made an important reference, and I got checked on it about the whole strong Black woman thing. And so I don't want that to be the message, you know. I just want them to know that they're enough. You know, I don't want them to have to seek validation outside. I don't want any of that for them. You know, I just want to raise normal kids.
Yeah. But what's normal, right?
What is normal? right. Which is normal, right? And that's a good question. And just solid, like I said, just good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that the universe will take care of itself with them, for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Shifting gears a little bit, because I definitely want to talk about, you know, your creativity. And to me, I don't think that there's any secret that creation and creativity is linked to femininity. And just from a spiritual perspective, women literally birth the world, or the feminine energy births the world. So can you talk to me a little bit about, you know, your creativity, and like, you know, what does that look like for you when you tap into it? What are the things that go on in James's mind that are creative, whether it's through fashion, whether it's through organizing your videos? Like, you know, tell me a little bit about your creative journey and how that coincides with your evolving journey.
Well, like the whole creative thing is, I didn't really discover I was creative until like my mid-20s, but I think I was always creative, but I just don't think that it was tapped into, or like, you know, it was maybe recognized. So this, the process of creativity, and how I see it, it came like at a very unique and different way, just because of just something that I admire, which is just fashion. You know, like I've always everyone's always associated me with fashion and being a great dresser and unique and stuff.
I mean, come on, can we flex a little real quick?
But so I've been like always synonymous to like fashion, and right, so it felt right that at one point in time when I was working corporate, this is when I realized, like I was like sitting at computers all the time. I'm like, I hate this. Like just sitting down, and everyone in the office will always be asking me questions about offerings from Nike, because you know they would buy all the stuff and basically asking me what they should buy. You know, so I'm like, okay, the buyers are asking me what they should buy, and from there I got the confidence, and I was encouraged by like people like Chrissia and a friend like Nick Corey to start this idea I had by taking. I like to take old things and make them new. So it was like a jacket and the pants, and I took the sleeves from the jacket and I made them into to the pants. So I cut like a, you know, whatever. That was like my first piece I did. And the feeling that I got from that was a feeling that I never felt before. It was like, you know, probably for anyone out there that does something out there that they find some type of sensation, like it was just like a really good feeling to have that and do that. And I knew that was a part of my talent, like a part of something that I was meant to do. But I kind of was like still always discouraged, because I'm like, it's so late, you know, in the game, you know, and not knowing really anything what to do. But recognizing, you know, working in the corporate environment and realizing that wasn't really like, I could do the work, but I did not like it at all. And seeking something else is, that's how I was able to find my creativity. Like trying to find a different void, leaving from corporate and feeling like trash. So now I'm leaving from corporate, rushing to the cleaners, where I'm dealing with a guy named Modesto, who's a Dominican that doesn't even speak English, but we have this great relationship that he's able to understand me through hand motions. And so it was just a crazy journey of just, you know, creativity, but just learning about myself, you know, expanding my you know, my network, and just all different kind of things. And in the process, like I said, I literally came from a place of just like wanting more, like seeking something outside of what I was doing with Foot Locker corporate. Yeah.
And how does creating help you now or coincide with your evolving journey now?
Well, as a creative now, I'm realizing that it's just not, you know, it's just not one thing. I just like to create and all. So now, you know, I'm trying to figure out the best way to service all the different areas that I like, you know, and that I want to progress in. And the clothing and the speaking, and you know, it's all in concert. And so what I have to do is I have to service them all. And if I don't service them all, then nothing really gets done. So speaking makes me want to go down and then create some pants, or work on, you know, doing the jacket. And from there, that maybe from doing the jacket gives me more energy to then maybe go on my computer and Photoshop and maybe come up with some ideas for a shirt or a t-shirt, or things that I'm trying to work on. So one day when this works, that I have a portfolio of different things and that I could pull from and be ready to go. So just trying to prepare in ways and still practice, because for me, and I'm going to be honest, through my mental health, I've had a hard time creating at times, so I haven't been consistent. So there's been blocks and times where I've lost a lot of time at times. So the speaking has helped me to be to get back to wanting to actually do the clothing again. So that's what it's been like, you know, what's been happening. You know, it's I've taken some downfalls and, you know, gotten up again. So it hasn't been as consistent. So my main thing right now is just all about consistency. It's just, I just want to be consistent with everything I'm doing and then see what happens from there. Because that would be something completely different than what I've done in the past, which was be consistent.
Yeah. So you said a few things that were super profound for me, and oh my gosh, that were really profound for me and that aligned with me. One, with creating, and you talked about your process of it. It is such a really cool thing when you see something in your brain and you do it, and then it comes to life, and it comes exactly or better than what you thought, which is so cool, and it's so dope when you're able to like bring things to life. And it just reminds you of how we are creators in so many different ways. And then you talked about anxiety and like how that blocks your creativity, and how you were able to be more creative once you used your voice. And that for me, like, I totally align with that, because what I realize is when I feel like anxiety or like bogged down and blocked, it's because I'm holding so much in and I'm shrinking myself. But then when you allow that burden to lift up, and you open your throat chakra, and you use the gift that God gave you, which is our voice, because God all gave us life. And we've gone through things in life, and that's meant to share, to serve others. How that completely just unblocks everything, and your mind is clear because you're releasing. And I've learned that creative blocks are just, for me at least, creative blocks is a lack of alignment. It's like when you're just totally out of alignment. And I know I refer to the chakras a lot, but that's just kind of where I am in my life, and I feel like it truly is a thing. And excuse me, like, I never ever thought about how our voice correlates so much with creativity. Like, they literally just go together, and because what we create is our voice. Right. And just even going back to creating clothes and creating all those things and being ready, like, you've already created one of the best gifts of all, which are other humans. And so, like, that's the ultimate creation. So there is nothing that you can't do or can't create from there. And that's not to say that, because there are people who necessarily can't do that. That's not to say that they aren't creators themselves, but it just shows me that when you unblock those things that want to come out so much, and you really get in alignment, and you allow yourself and know you're worthy enough to speak, you literally can just create anything. And I think that that's such a powerful correlation that you put together, and that resonates with me a lot, because I feel like once I get it out, then I'm like, all of the ideas start flowing. Right. And I'm like, I want to do this. Sometimes for me it's too much, because then I want to do a million things at once, and then it's like, I'm not doing none of it, because that's a lot I just put on the table. Like, I don't know where to start. But it's a profound thing that you said that, and I think that that's a really powerful sentiment that you shared. And I think you should just continue, and consistency can look different. Like, being able to honor how you feel in whatever moments that you are in. Like, maybe today I'm just not, I can't give what I want to give today. So how do I give it in a different way? And again, like we talked about earlier, about redefining what things look like can completely just shift everything for us. But I think you're super talented. I want a piece. I've been waiting for my piece.
It's my mental thing. It's a mental thing, but I got you. I promise you, it's gonna come at the right time.
Yes, I'll be patient. I'll wait.
It's gonna come at the right time. I promise.
But I think, again, like, you're important. Like, and what you have to say is so important, and your voice is important. Like, I can remember, and people tell me this to this day, like on Unmute Black Voices, that first call, your segment of it, at the end of the call, and there were so many people on there, still talk about it till this day. And I don't think that that's by accident. Like, you were so transparent, so vulnerable, and so honest about how you felt. Like, it impacted people even 2 years later. Like, again, people still talk to me about this, and it was so powerful. So just know that what you're doing and the journey that you are going through, it's okay. Like, you're worthy of that. You're worthy of so much more, and you don't have to be bogged down by the challenges. I don't even want to say bad things, but by the challenges that come in life, because everyone has challenges, but those trials will be your testimony, and it is now. Like, Dre and I are inspired by you every single day. Dre literally wakes up to see what you have to say, wakes me up like, babe, you gotta look at what James is saying. Like, you bring that type of energy for people. I'm not even over exaggerating.
But Dre, you guys inspire me too. Like, you guys really do. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but I'm pulling from the people that are around me too. You know what I mean? And like the characteristics and certain things that I see that I want to instill and, you know, evolve into. And I'm not right, in fact, in the way that I am. And so I know that there's areas of my life, and like I look at Dre and I see obviously how hard he works and what he's been able to do for communities. You know, it's like and he's a very nice person.
He's super nice.
Like I could really tell that, you know, and so were you. You guys are very, very nice people, and like just genuinely like good, nice people. You know, you can authentically tell that, and you know. I pull from everyone around me too, and I really do thank you guys. I try to, you know, big up Dre whenever I can, because I just want people in my, like, I don't have a large following. I wish I really did, but the people that I do, I want them all to know about people like him, you know, because there's some amazing people out here that aren't on the glitz and glam, and like you guys are just doing the true work through your voice, and you know what you do for my family, you know, it's amazing. You know, you guys are very. It's weird. It's like we are family. You know, we are family. It's become a family, and you're a very big part of my life. You know, you guys are a big part of our lives. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, and I am definitely just pulling inspiration from everything around me and people too, and you guys do inspire me too, to do the actual work, and you know, take it easy a little bit too,
Yeah.
I have a certain energy. I see, I'm inspired by you guys too.
Well, thank you. Yes. I appreciate that more than you know. Because I'm always telling Dre, I'm like, I need to impress Chrissia and I need to do this. But even with that, like, that's so powerful to me, because I think that it's often lost on us that we want to see things from such a macro level that we forget the micro. And I think what you're saying there about being inspired by the people around you, that's God showing you, because again, like, we all came from different places, like strangers that became family, and whether it's from afar or hanging out, like, that's God showing you, like, you are worthy of this. You are worthy of inspiration. You are worthy of being an inspiration. You are worthy of happiness. You are worthy of upliftment. You are worthy in your worst times, being able to just be in your worst times and know that people love you enough to pull you back up, to respect you, let you go through your process, but then pull you back up and not let you stay there. And that's such a powerful thing, where we think we're just going through it by ourselves, because trauma feels lonely sometimes. Right. But that's why it's so important to speak, because it's not. There's so many people who are going through similar things that we are, and it's important for us to come together. And even people who are not going through similar things, maybe they have that little something that you need in that moment to uplift you, and you have to know that you are worthy of that. Absolutely. And so, I mean, I'm very thankful for all of you. Again, like, we love you. We love your family. You guys inspire us. You guys are a beautiful Black family. beautiful family in general, but I'm gonna say emphasis on Black, because it's important, and you guys go through your struggles, but so does everyone.
Absolutely.
You know, no one's perfect, and it wouldn't be worth it without the struggle.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, I'm very thankful for you, and I'm thankful for your family. And the fact that you even came here to do this and be open and transparent means everything to me, because this is just something I'm doing on the side, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's important. So to have that support and people to do this means more to me than you'll ever know.
I wanted to be here in person to support. I didn't feel like a call would be justifiable for all the things that you do for us. And you know what I mean? So I definitely want to support your endeavors, and you're very good at what you do. So I definitely keep using your voice, you know, and there's definitely, I'm sure you're inspiring tons of people out there, you know, and I beg you to please just keep using your voice, because we all need different energies and different like kind of like inspirations, and like, you know, sometimes you may need to come to get amped up, but sometimes you may need to come in to kind of balance yourself out, you know, and zen it back out. And I think you bring a very unique zen like a zen-like vibe to everything, you know.
Thank you.
So it's like it's very, very necessary in a chaotic world.
Yo, like trying to have peace in all the chaos is really, really, really difficult. But again, like we said earlier, it starts with us. You know, it starts with ourselves. And there are many a times I have my breakdowns. I have panic attacks, anxiety attacks, like very bad anxiety. And I think part of that comes from my upbringing and being a runner all my life, like running away from problems my entire life. And now I'm in a place where I like know that if I want to create the things I want to create, because like you said, I want to live past just this moment. My grandmother's birthday was yesterday, and I think about her often, because I'm like, yo, there's so many people who pass away and literally only their family knows them. And then once their family goes, no one knows them. Right. It's like you were never here.
Absolutely.
And I don't want that for me and the people around me. I want to continue a legacy that way outlives me and my family and generations to come, just like so many of the great leaders that we talk about. And I think that it's important, just going back to you were saying like, I wish I had a bigger following, but you probably have a bigger following than you know. Because again, like, to reference that call, you impacted people that you don't even know, and they're telling other people about that. And then that's pushing them to be honest about what they're feeling, and then they're telling someone else. And so what we think is micro is truly macro. We just don't know, but you got to allow God to just use you. And it's okay if you don't see it. Because what happens is when you do see it, you get caught up in the numbers. You get caught up in the external instead of doing the work in the internal to just let it come out naturally. But know that you are doing way more than you probably think you are.
I appreciate that.
And so never minimize yourself or shrink yourself, because you don't need to. You have a strong voice and you have to use it, and know that you telling me something will be me telling someone else something, because it impacted me. Like that quote that people will forget what you say, people will forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel.
Yes.
Like that is my intention every single day.
It's a very true statement.
So true. And so you do that.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad, whether it's like he was turning it up, or
I definitely do that.
Yeah. But again, and you know, what I think it was Viola Davis who said, "You never die until the last person who knows who you are dies."
Right.
And so, the goal is to never die.
Exactly. That is the goal.
And then we refine death. You won't be. I won't be afraid to die if I know that I lived unapologetically who I am. Absolutely. And I left everything out on the table. Then I know that I won't die.
Right.
So, cheers to not dying. But James,
forever.
Exactly.
Yep.
Forever. Look, he's still alive.
Right.
Still alive till this day. And so
till this day,
that's the goal. That's where we're gonna be. And what you're doing, again, you're gonna instill in your children, and then they're gonna instill in their children and the people that they are, because they're creatives too.
Yes, they are.
And they
are some creatives.
Yeah, and your wife is a creative. Like, you guys are so blessed with these gifts that is literally God screaming at you like, you're gonna live forever because you get to create. And so I'm just blessed to even be immersed in that and to be a part of that. And I've already witnessed things that are gonna live forever through Chrisia. So like, I think this is dope, and I just love this energy, and I love this creative energy, and I know I can be calm and stuff, but like you said, you need the balance.
Yes.
And I don't know, this is dope. This is super fulfilling for me.
Good. It's a great conversation for me. I love this.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll wrap it up. We want to get into our creator business of the episode. So James, take it away.
Okay, so I want to showcase my line brother, Christopher Cardwell. His personal Instagram page is I_am_good, GOODKNEWS. That's news, but with a K, because we're Kappas, we're line brothers. That's my line brother. And I just want to, excuse me, I just want to just give him a big shout out, because he is someone that literally inspires me to this day. He has a multitude of businesses. He's a photographer. He started off as a photographer. He's in the New Rochelle area, upstate, and he works with tons of different entertainers and artists now. He fell into Forex trading, and now he's putting together these big conferences all throughout, like football stadium fields. These are the Forex guys. He has a hand in that. And he also has a clothing line on his page as well, which is Good News Apparel. And that is pretty much a brand created by a creator for creators. And he works with different people within the industry. Man, I'm forgetting this guy's name, but he's working with a really popular guy right now who has his own series on Instagram that's like up, and he wears all his clothes. Dope. So Christopher Cardwell has been working very hard, but I wanted to showcase him because he's one person that I may not call all the time, or we don't speak all the time, but whenever we do, it's always love, it's always positivity. He always pours into me. He's always tries to help me. He's tried to financially help me. He's tried to put money in my hand. This guy has done a lot of different things to try to help, and he's a very good like spirit. Like when you're talking about how I just get, that you're a very good, authentic person. This is another good, authentic person. He truly is a really good person, and he makes me sick sometimes at how positive he is. It's just always positive. I'm like, how do you see it this way? But it's like I said, I'm getting inspiration from people I love, and he's someone that, I would like to lend myself more to in some of the way that he is, and he inspires me. And so I wanted to give his page, because all of those 3 different businesses are linked to his page underneath there. And it depends on, obviously being in New Rochelle, that's a specific area, but the other 2 businesses, anyone anywhere could reach out to him.
Awesome. And
they could buy product and also be informed about the Forex trading and how you can become financially free, that's what he's doing, and yeah, I'm really proud of him, and I'm thankful for him for everything that he's doing, not only for what he's done for me and whatnot, but what he's doing for his community, so.
Awesome. Well, make sure that you follow his page. And where can the people follow you?
On Instagram, I just have one account right now. Instagram, my name is James, James, dot long, LONGRENT. Don't ask me about what it means. I was trying to do something, it doesn't make any sense. But it's James.longrant. And so that's my Instagram page. And from there, you will have a link to my actual clothing brand, Anxiety. So my clothing brand is called Anxiety. You can go on the page and see the look and feel of the brand and what I'm trying to do. We're servicing it right now, trying to come up with some graphics or something to offer for these upcoming months for the fall and winter. So again, you can go to my page and from there you can click to see my brand, Anxiety, and that's XIETY.
Awesome. And last thing is, please leave the people with a quote that you live by or that inspires you.
Okay, so I love Malcolm X. That is my most favorite person in the whole entire world. And I hope I get this right, but he said something to the effect of, if you don't have critics, then more than likely you won't find success. And I kind of use that right now for what I'm going through in my life, because using your voice, you have to be open to criticism. You have to be open to all different kind of energy. I mean, you got to be open to it all. And I have to. Even in the first 5 episodes, I've even had some ups and downs with criticism and learning how to process it, and almost knocking me off of not even wanting to do it again. So, taking obviously something like that from Malcolm X is everything to me, because coming from him, I would believe it to be true. And so, without critics, you're not, meaning that you have what you say, everyone's not always going to agree, or people are going to be critical. People are going to be critical back to you, and you have to be open to that. And so that's just a reminder for me in the journey that I'm trying to embark on as far as using my voice, is that there will be critics, and that within that hopefully, if I keep being consistent and moving forward, that there will be success coming with that. So that's that.
Yes, I love that. So now we're going to close out the episode in prayer. So let's bow our heads real quick. Okay. Lord, first and foremost, thank you so much for this moment. Thank you for this space. Thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for creating this platform for all of us to come together and just talk and heal together and create community. I pray that you just continue to bless us. I pray that you continue to bless James and his family and his beautiful daughters and wife, and just help him and guide him through his journey of evolving and healing and getting out his message, and just help him to continue to create, Lord. I pray that any time that he feels any type of creative blockage, that you intervene and that you help him, Lord, and you clear out those chakras, clear out those spaces, because he has something special to give to this world. And we just thank you for him. We just thank you for this moment, and we pray for a successful episode and to never dying. In your name we pray, amen. And as always, in promotion of health and wealth, we are cheersing and closing out the episode with a delicious smoothie. Thank you all so much for tuning in. So much gratitude to you for supporting this platform and supporting this talk. Make sure to follow James on all his platforms, as well as the creator of the episode. You can also follow us at Heal Talk with Nay on Instagram. And until next time, peace, love, and light, beautiful people. Cheers. Bye. Peace and gratitude, tribe. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Heal Talk. If you like content like this, please be sure to like and comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. Also, make sure that you turn on that bell notification so that you'll never miss an alert when we drop a new episode. Thank you so much for your support, and until next time, peace.